Anthony mentioned him 1,000 times when he was trying to talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. It's Mr. DeAndre Hopkins. He's currently up 6.1 spots to 89.4. Steve, I'm going to go to you first on this one because I don't think I've gotten to you first yet. So we're going to do that right now. What are your thoughts on Mr. DeAndre Hopkins moving up again? Like I said, 6.1 spots. Are you interested? Are you buying into the Titans passing attack this year?
Yeah, certainly. They're going to be slinging the rock a lot this year with Willie Levis, Willie Levis, Willie Fubu's, whatever you want to call him. And I've said in the past few shows, it could be like a Jameis type season where, maybe he's throwing, upwards of 20 something picks, but we could get, 25, 30 touchdowns from him as well. So, they bring Ridley in, they bring Tyler Boyd in as well. But I still think, DeAndre Hopkins is the best receiver in that room, 32 years old, getting a little up there, but he was never like a guy that was going to separate anyway. He's always a guy that's just going to win with his physicality, win those 50-50 balls. So I still think he can get the job done even at this age. He's got a few solid seasons left. So, yeah, I like getting DeAndre Hopkins. I think the Titans really, with this new regime change, are just going to throw the ball a lot more. So I don't mind it.
Anthony, what says you? Oh, go ahead. Go, Pete. No, you go, Pete. Go.
Are you sure?
I am more than positive.
All right. So I've been pretty adamant, like, Calvin Ridley is a my guy kind of player, but Hopkins, I believe they're similar in terms of their ADP. I don't have Ridley pulled up right now in his ADP, but what I would say is some things to keep in mind with Hopkins is Hopkins actually was in the top 20 for unlucky wide receivers by depth adjusted catchable target rating.
Yeah, the air yards going 20 feet over his head from food.
Yeah. And his catchable deep target rate ranked 11th worst last season. But despite all that, he finished top 10 in total target share and passing volume. It should go up. I mean, the Titans were 30th in the NFL for passing attempts last season. They bring in, the OC from the Bengals, and the Bengals were 8th in terms of passing volume last year. So I think there's enough to go around. I think Hopkins is still pretty affordable. I like both him and Ridley, honestly, at their cost. I'm totally fine grabbing either of them. I wasn't super in on Hopkins, but the more I read into his stats and dig in a little bit into his metrics for last year, he's still got juice. So I'm comfortable taking him at his current ADP.
Anthony, before you go, I just had to put these two comments up. Jamie said Anthony is easily simulated when it comes to his pizza and OnlyFans page. So there you go. So you got that going for you. There they are. They're those happy kids at the party. We're going to get sued soon. And then also Joe Carlton said, is it at least a vape that gives you a buzz? Anthony?
No, it's just a regular low nicotine tobacco vape. I smoke weed.
Jimmy smoked
the third time I'll say soft porn. Anyway. Go ahead. Tell me
the vaping is the only vice I have left. That and my smelling salts. That's all I have left. I don't really do much else.
Sure. Wow. Anyway, I just give him a reason.
I don't drink like that.
Not unless it has an umbrella in it. Anyway, Anthony, tell us about Mr. DeAndre Hopkins.
All right. So DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, right? You really have to pick your poison. They're both going fairly close. I would say what I have it in front of me right now, within a few spots, within 5 spots of each other right now. Who would you rather have tied to Will Levis? Because I'm very much in on this Titans offense. Not that I believe in Will Levis. He didn't really give us a lot to believe in. I believe in Brian Callahan. I believe in his father coming over to run the offensive line. I believe that this Titans front office, they want to get as far away as the Mike Vrabel era as they can. And they did that this offseason by completely flipping from a run-heavy defensive team, or at least what they tried to be, and they want to throw the football. They brought in not only Tyler Boyd, they brought in Ridley. They addressed the offensive line with top 10 picks in back-to-back years. We know that Callahan, they throw the football. They threw the football a lot, and I get it. It was with Joe Burrow. But they have the personnel around Will Levis to throw the ball. top 10. And I know in Cincy, they were top 5 to 7 on a year-to-year basis in the Callahan system. So I'm going to buy into one of these guys. Now, how I'm going to handle this, I'll probably have a little bit of each. I play volume teams. I'll probably have a little bit of Ridley, a little bit of Hopkins. And that's how I'm going to play it. Like, I don't love either one. I don't have a flag planted on either side. Does Hopkins have a little bit more of an edge because he has a rapport? Sure. But Calvin Ridley, he was solid. Like I was all in on Ridley last year. That blew up in my face. I still think he's a very, very good wide receiver. And I think coming off the suspension and that time away from football, I don't think I put enough of that in my evaluations last year, where now he's acclimated. He's with the new system, new team. So I'm going to buy into Ridley. I'm going to buy into Hopkins, just not on the same team.
Let me ask you though, how big of a disappointment was Calvin Ridley really last year? I mean,
he was frustrating.
He was fantasy receiver 17 though.
But he was for where you took. He started out like in the 4th round. Then towards the end of the season, going up like the second.
I was all in on Ridley.
Yeah, I had a lot of Ridley last year. He was frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't touch him in the 2nd round last year, but. I mean,
that's where he was going towards like the end, like going into.
So that would be equate to he was probably going as wide receiver. I don't know. You got to think maybe 14, 15 in that range, right? I mean, I would think. I don't know if he was. I think people just maybe expected more from him. I think Ridley looked fine last year, but I've already staked my claim on Ridley, so I don't need to go back into it. But I'm just a big Ridley guy, so.
I mean, it was when you look at the numbers. Yeah, it was 1,000 yards and he had 8 touchdowns. Off of
not playing for a year and a half.
Yeah, I just know it was just it was just frustrating. I just remember being fucking frustrating.
Well, to be fair, that whole Jags offense was frustrating last year.
They were.
Yeah. Yes, it was. All right.